Are you a successful entrepreneur or one in training? You've got the vision, but do you have the right partner to build your brand, your team, and your future online and off? At cprfirm.com, we offer expert consulting, financial guidance, and life coaching because we believe in doing life with our clients. After all, what is it for a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Founded by Callan Cash Coleman, we help our clients not only succeed, but plan to retire rich. Your business deserves the best. Start building your legacy today at cprfirm.com.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
Make sure you pick up my two books that's in Amazon right now. The first one is Passive Aggressive Racism and the System of White Supremacy. And I talk about in that particular book how the system of white supremacy really runs on our daily lives here in America. In our latest book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, we go through those steps to try to deprogram you from the system of white supremacy. Make sure you can pick up those books on Amazon.com.
Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the global Black community. We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are here. We are here. This is one of those nights that I am running on commitment. It is Tuesday, December 17th. And the reason why I'm running on commitment, y'all, I am literally out of gas. And I'm not talking about my car. My car's got gas. No, I'm talking about me. I'm just literally out of gas. You know, I didn't sleep too well last night. So I'm going to get through this live stream much as possible. But hey, I may get my second win. So today we're going to talk about the Uhuru 3. What is that about? I've been actually watching that case ever since it happened. If you remember the sister that ran for St. Petersburg. I think she's running for in Florida. I don't know if she was running for city council or she was running for something. Is Aretha Akile Canyon, I think that's her full name. And, she interviewed here a couple of times, and she was, asked if we could run her stuff or whatever. I said, yeah, it'll help you, definitely. And fast forward to the Biden administration. And this Biden administration has been just really terrorizing black people, whether they're black mayors, black people who are, trying to, fight for black people or fight for, black people globally, whatever. They have been really going after black people with the FBI underneath this administration, right? Biden Harris. And yet we were supposed to go ahead on and give an extension of that administration. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get into that tonight. And everything. So, Hope everybody's doing good today. I don't know what's going on with the YouTube today because, normally when you go live, at your regular times, you see the number spike real quick. And I know even with Vicky's today, it took a little while, for it to slowly come up. So what's going on with that? But we here. Few things. Make sure you download the African Diaspora News Channel app, Google Play and Apple App Store, as always. And when you do that, hit create account. You can choose monthly, quarterly, or yearly. We love to finish off the year strong. We can get 10 people to join yearly. Every stream that'll be great. That would be great. Every stream, finish off the year strong. I hope y'all, coming up on these holidays, right? That y'all don't get into debt or don't run up your credit cards for them cheering, right? Because those children, get them something they need. Like they need clothes, they need some shoes, give them a savings account or something. Put some investment in their name and just let it build. That's something great to give them. But don't just go buy some toys or a PS5 or whatever, because a PS6 will be out before you know it. Then they want the PS6. So, yeah, just be mindful when you're spending money, because this country love for us to be, one thing I've been studying about this country, they want us to be consumers, and we don't really be in the habit of saving anything. All we do is buy. We make more money, we buy. It's like my grandfather used to say, it's like your money burning in your hand. And I was like, what you mean by that? And they say, in other words, as soon as it get in your hand, you're trying to hurry up and get out of it. And that's really how most Americans shop, because we have been trained like that through marketing. We've been trained like that, just the way the American system is. They say that the economy needs you to spend so much money for it to be good. So they want a consumerism country. And it doesn't make us really hold any money. We always making payments, right? Because we just, I can afford it, so I'm going to go get this higher price car. I can afford it, I'm going to start buying this higher price purse. And the purse you had before was working just fine, or the brand. Well, it's going to do the exact same thing. Why do you need to go spend all your money on, and then a lot of times these brands don't even like black people, right? So what I always tell black people, definitely going in 2025, look more to conserve. Like you don't have to have a G-Wagon, okay? You don't have to have that. That's a vehicle. I watched a guy one time, millionaire. He said one of the flyest thing I ever heard in my life. He was like, a car is the worst thing you could buy. He said, because the moment you drive it off the lot, it depreciates. And he said, people spend all this money on a car for all these bells and whistles in a car. He said, do you live in your car or do you live in your house? And I'm like, He said, you spend more time in your house than that car, right? And I say, wow, that's interesting. So they don't spend a lot of money on cars. Or I'll look at the way the brands they buy, right? They don't be spending money like, the people that a lot of times rich don't have certain cars. Now, the so-called black celebrities got them. But unfortunately, we have a scarcity mentality. And because we buy things to make us feel good about ourselves, because we have low self-esteem, that's why we consume a whole lot as black people. We stingy in one instance, but we give all our money in the next instance. So just wanted to run that by y'all real quick before we get started. Just a little word of truth. Let's see who gonna get into tonight. Let's see who gonna get into tonight. I don't know. Yeah, let's get him in here since it's Tuesday.
I'm just telling you. I'm gonna let you talk.
Who you talking to? You gonna let the voters let me? I got voted in. Who you talking to? You gonna let me? I got seconds left.
I want you to know.
Ain't she crazy? How many seconds? Why you? I'm counting your time, Miss Galloway. I'm gonna rule you out of order. You keep talking so much.
Do I have the floor? Do I?
Yes, you do.
Thank you very much.
What a fool.
We have got to help the city of Flint. We have got to move the city forward. We have got to vote yes on this. Thank you.
Ms. Herkenroder, you the reason that I'm going to vote the way I'm going to vote, because you tried to put words in my mouth like I said you was a racist. You got to stop doing that. You've got to stop doing that.
Ms. Fields, please be very careful in that area. Please.
All I said, there was mediation and there were people in rooms. That's not confidential.
You told details of who in what room and how many.
But I am going to finish saying this.
Well, go ahead.
That's fine. Do you?
It shouldn't be fine. We got folks sitting in business, and I wouldn't care if you was the chair, the sofa, the TV. So you might want a dialogue.
I don't give a...
You don't give a what?
That's what he's trying to do.
So you dialoguing?
There's no dialogue.
It is some dialogue. You gave me some
point
dialogue.
Of order. Councilwoman Worthy, what is your point of order? No, I'm not.
You ain't?
I'm not.
You must.
This is a joke.
Stop this abuse.
I'm going to give you a point of order. Personal attacks is out of order. Now, you want to make a personal attack on me, I'm going to tell you something. I'm tired of Ms. Fields calling me racist. I'm tired of you calling me personal names as it relates to women. I'm tired of it. It's wrong, you're out of order, but you keep doing it. Because when I start blasting your butt, like I'm doing, everybody already know it's coming from y'all. But don't get beside yourself, Mr. Chairman. If he gonna holler tell me to shut up, you better give him his warning.
I gave you yours.
Give him his. If you gonna discriminate, you gonna let the white man running for mayor holler across and tell this black man to shut up.
I don't want to hear
So when he get loud, I'm going to get louder. When they go low, I go lower.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Eric Mays. And it may be, I was reading some of the comments y'all leaving about notifications. You know, it could be a couple of things with that. I always tell y'all, come check, on the channel. Check at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time if we live or not. Just make a habit to check. I put this live up pretty quick. That's some of it, too. Because it didn't it didn't propagate, because just kind of like what things happen with me today. I had to go do some things with my little girl and all that. It's just a lot, was going on today. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this and try to get through this pretty quick tonight. And so I can kind of talk to y'all about what's going on. So as we know, we're going to play the first clip as usual. And, the Uhuru movement was accused of being Russian agents and conspiring against the United States of America. And this first clip, I want you to really listen to what the FBI was saying about them colluding, and it's just interesting how they brought up reparations. But let's go ahead and play this first clip when they initially got the indictment. So let me go. Here we go.
Line discussions with the president of the Moscow-based anti-globalization movement of Russia. With help from a translator, the FBI says he spread Russian propaganda.
Western propaganda is lying when they say that Russia has invaded Ukraine.
This week, that man was indicted by a federal grand jury in Tampa with conspiring to use a number of U.S. citizens as agents of Russia.
The facts and circumstances surrounding this indictment are some of the most egregious and blatant violations we've seen by the Russian government in order to destabilize and undermine trust in American democracy.
The FBI alleges from December 2014 through March of this year, Alexander Ionov was actively working to sow discord, spread Russian propaganda, and interfere with elections in the U.S. and around the world. The indictment alleges he and the Russian Federal Security Service relied on social media and also directed and controlled 3 political groups, one being the Uhuru movement in St. Pete.
Russia has recruited and forged ties with persons and groups around the world who are positioned to amplify and reinforce Russia's messaging campaigns.
They're using Russia as a part of a propaganda tool against the people to turn you away.
Uhuru's Aretha Akile Kenyon is alleged to be the candidate Russians were supervising in her 2019 run for St. Pete City Council, offering consulting and funding. At this point, Kenyon is considered an unindicted co-conspirator, but has not been charged.
Why take their money?
Did I ever say I took any money? See, no. I never, no. That's what I'm accused of. I never said that, so don't put that in my mouth. I didn't say that.
Did you take money from
Look, I don't want to answer your question because you want to take it somewhere. I don't want to take it there.
There was also apparent Russian influence in the 2017 St. Pete race for mayor. The Uhuru group seen here disrupting political events. According to the indictment, the word reparations was part of alleged discussions between Ionov and another unindicted co-conspirator who appears to be former mayoral candidate Jesse Neville.
I think
alleged discussions between Ionov and another disrupting political events. According to the indictment, the word reparations was part of alleged discussions between Ionov and another unindicted co-conspirator.
Okay, so they put in the indictment reparations and with this Russian individual. I want y'all to kind of see that. This is the Biden-Harris DOJ. I want to make sure we enter that.
Who appears to be former mayoral candidate Jesse Neville.
I think all of us that believe in the democracy that is America ought to be concerned because if it's coming down to even the local level, then our entire democracy is at risk.
The Uhuru house was one of 3 locations in St. Pete raided Friday by federal agents as they collect evidence for the current and possibly future indictments.
Today's action should serve as a deterrent to other foreign adversaries that the FBI will not tolerate meddling in our democratic process.
So according to the Biden DOJ, what I want to know what Russians got to do with reparations. I'm trying to figure that part out. I mean, how you link all that together? Now, when they got indicted, of course, they said they was, innocent of, because they accused him of being, did not register as a foreign agent for the Russian government. Now, the brother, the elder, Amali Yeshiteli, you're trying to say his name right. He did go to Russia a few times, but is it illegal to go over there? I mean, I had no business over there. But is it illegal to go? Is United States citizens banned from going to that country? I mean, if they banned, then, let American citizens know that they banned. But they got indicted. They raided them, had them out there outside their house in front of everybody, looking like criminals and everything. In this other clip, I got to, I think it plays something about, when they went to the UN, talking about the way black people are being treated, or Africans in particular, being treated on the continent. They was also saying that was Russian, propaganda as well. So anytime black people speak up for themselves on a global stage, some shape or form, a Russian has something to do with it. I tell people this: if you're gonna get in certain types of activism, you can't live here in the United States. A lot of your activists, they either died, went to jail for the rest of their life, or they had to leave the United States. They're just bottom line. That's what happened to them. We talking about the real deal, hardcore, people, right? I'm slowly seeing people come in after about 20 minutes. I'm seeing them slowly come in, but that's just really what the life of a real life activist it was, back then. And now, not too many people banging like that. And if they are, they usually get compromised or they buy them out or whatever the case may be, right? It's a little different today. You got a little bit more distractions that you had maybe in the 1960s, 1950s, 70s, whatever. So talking about reparations was put in that indictment. Okay, so they had their trial. They actually was convicted, but not of being a Russian agent. They had a charge of conspiring against the United States government. So I want y'all to see, the ending of all that, because I'm talking about all this for a reason. So check this out.
If that unified chant didn't make it clear enough what Uhuru supporters wanted, the group's chairman, Omali Yeshitela, summed it up.
Not one day, not one dime.
Meaning no prison time and no fine for the so-called Uhuru 3. And they got what they hoped for. A federal judge sentenced the 3 defendants to 36 months of probation, 300 hours of community service, but no time behind bars.
We're not instructed by the Russians, we're instructed by our history.
Not according to the U.S. government. Federal investigators accused Yeshitela, Penny Hess, and Jesse Neville of working with the founder of the anti-globalization movement of Russia when they petitioned the UN in 2015. The petition said the U.S. was actively committing genocide against African people. U.S. officials.
Okay, you heard that? Listen to that again. Let's back that up. Listen, I want you to hear.
The petition said the U.S. was actively committing genocide against African people. U.S. officials said yes.
So that's what they put in the indictment as well. So you speak up at the UN and everything, you may get an indictment. So
Yeshitela and Hess then used $12,000 from the same Russian agent to carry that message around the country.
Their political goal was to use the foreign agent charge to deny the legitimacy of the Black liberation movement when we criticized the U.S. government for its treatment of African people.
Prosecutors also said Russian agents offered campaign finance help to Neville when he ran for St. Pete mayor in 2017. In September, a jury convicted the Uhuru Three of conspiring with Russian agents, but acquitted them of the more serious charge that they were acting as agents of a foreign government. The Uhuru say they were exercising free speech.
We had a lawyer who said that if this thing even goes to trial, that it's an assault, a major assault on the First Amendment.
Investigators have said this case was part of a broader Russian scheme to interfere in American politics. The Uhurus deny they were involved, and they believe the judge's sentencing backs up that claim.
Today, he saw that that these are people that have been doing this work for 50 years. Their positions have not changed.
All right. So, you saw it kind of like, I'm glad nobody went to jail. They got the community service and probation and all of that. That's good. But when you really start advocating for black people, even if you advocate for black Americans, let's say if you go to the UN and talk about what's happening with us as black Americans, and all eyes get on you all of a sudden because, listen, they have to craft narratives in this country. And this one of the reasons why they want TikTok gone, okay? TikTok, because it's not owned by Meta or Google or whatever the case may be, they can't really put the narratives they want. And that's why Democrats and Republicans got together to put up a bill, and Joe Biden signed it to get rid of TikTok. Even though TikTok has 176 million users on there, they want to get rid of it because when they say one thing, TikTok throws so much information at you so quick, and it's a lot different than YouTube, right? I liken YouTube to like about a new age TV. That's how I liken YouTube. TikTok is to me not TV, but a true social media. That's how I look at it. So the politicians, Democrat and Republican, don't like TikTok because, we could look at things in real time on TikTok. We can, when they say, oh, this has happened to this country, that's why we need to invade or put sanctions. And then the people in that country were like, man, no, it's not happening. Like, what are they talking about? They don't like that. The platform African Stream, the reason why they got taken down, because they was reporting on the things that the Biden administration was doing in Somalia. And they accused them of being with Russia. Every time somebody say something on a global stage, they lay the accusation that they're working for Russia Today, which is RT, or something with Russia. They keep on making that accusation. And just the mere accusation of it, African Stream stuff was taken completely down. The YouTube went down. The Facebook went down. I think the IG went down. They were getting donations through Stripe. They couldn't get donations anymore because they took them down. So just off of accusation, because they was reporting on what's happening now. African Stream is actually out of Nairobi, Kenya. So they on the continent. And they're reporting news, and yet they were taken down by accusations of working with Russia. That's what they always have done for a long time. When Martin Luther King was out, they was calling him what? Oh, he's a communist. Oh, he must be working with the Soviet Union. Every time black people advocate for our rights, it's always got to be somebody white that's either backing us or whatever. If it ain't a white Russian, it's a white liberal. It's never black people on their own. It's always got to be somebody white behind the scenes, somebody white funding something. Always, you know what I'm saying? It's always got, that's how much they try to center themselves in our fight, in our struggle, or whatever else we're talking about. We're not smart enough to do it on our own, so it has to be a white Russian that most black Americans not going to run into unless you live in an immigrant city like New York City. The average black American live in the South. We don't see Russians like that. So most black Americans aren't saying, I'm going to Russia. Most of us not going. Now, your true travelers among us, maybe they want to go. But the average black American isn't going to Russia. Matter of fact, to get the average black American to even go to the African continent, They'll go to the Caribbean because of cruise ships maybe, but to go to the African continent, sometimes that's a big deal. So Russia, no. Matter of fact, I don't know a black person, at least in my personal life, that that went to Russia. So it's safe to say, as black Americans, we really not thinking about Russians like that. Like, nobody can come to me with anything because, my motto, not my people, not my problem. The first thing I'm going to say is, okay, Mr. White Russian or Miss White Russian. I mean, I ain't got no beef with you, but because they know your beef with your people is your beef, but I'm working on what black people got going on. That's it. And if you are in the United States, you really can't do nothing like that. Now, if you are in the other countries or outside the U.S., maybe you could do certain things, but not here. Not here. That's just not going to happen. But they want to control and micromanage everything we say. The Democrats say they're about democracy, right? And they kept preaching, we got to save democracy, save democracy. Remember, this case happened during the Biden-Harris administration. What democracy, ladies and gentlemen? What democracy? They do not believe in democracy whatsoever. If they believed in democracy, they would believe in freedom of speech. Now, of course, we can't have people doing things, that's going to harm the country. Let me tell you something. You rather go raid an elderly man in his 80s, right? But every other time we look up, we don't see raids of these white children that's going out they weapons in the school. They just had another school shooting. Well, and a lot of times they even know the troubles that these kids have, and they still don't go do them nothing. I mean, if you want to talk about like terrorism and things like that, what happens in these schools? That's why I don't feel, me personally, I don't feel safe with my child being in any kind of school where they're predominant. I don't feel safe. And I don't feel safe because I watch what they do in their own schools and in their own neighborhoods. You can say whatever you want to say about Pookie and Ray Ray, but Pookie and Ray Ray is not going into the school and doing stuff like that. Now, Pookie and Ray Ray may do something on the block, but he's not going to do nothing in the school. That's not what he do, because Pookie and Ray Ray got his kids going to that school. And then when you talk about that, if you really get down to now, this new age is different, but the original code was, no old people, no women, no children. Keep that, that gangster stuff with the people that you're dealing with. Keep it on those ops. You don't go mess with women and children and old people. But that's never been no kind of rule for the folks, obviously, because how many times have they targeted our children, the women, the men, the elders? They don't care, right? But they're always accusing us of things that we're not even doing or have no desire of doing. And they do that to get us not to advocate for ourselves. They do that because the more and more we speak up about the things they're doing globally, the more the world will pay attention to it. And the one thing nobody wants the black Americans to home in on what they're doing and their crap. Because when we home in on something with one voice, everybody listen. Everybody pay attention. And you give some people the go ahead to be like, you know what? Okay, those black Americans. Oh man, okay. Yeah. I was thinking this way, but since black Americans is going to do this, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and support it. You even in this election, do you know in this past election, some people voted different ways based off of some things that black Americans were saying. Some people was fine with choosing the couch. Some people voted for Trump or whatever, right? Because of what black Americans were saying. Because we have the pulse, we are the culture of America, whether these folks like it or not. Keisha, you say you walked through metal detectors in 1986 in your first year of high school? Yeah, they put all these metal detectors at the black schools, a lot of the black schools, or predominantly black. But you go to, where the folks is at, and anybody can just do what they want to do in there. And that's why it constantly keep happening, unfortunately. And if it was a black kids constantly doing it, we would have had a law already stopping all that. But, Bill O'Reilly said something that was I'll never forgot. He said, Yeah, I know these things may happen, but that's the cost of freedom. That's how they feel. They say that's the cost of freedom. Even though you have functional countries throughout the world, they have zero gun violence because everybody can't walk around with that much firepower on them. I'm not saying you can't protect your household, but come on. But the folks are always trying to accuse us of things that they're doing. How many times that they have been doing things with Russians? How many times they've been gun running and doing all kind of other things with the Russians? But it's the black folks. When somebody mentioned reparations, by that logic, everybody mentioned reparations. I guess, are we all affiliated with a Russian government? Could we mention reparations? Black, freedom, black empowerment is not a white Russian idea. That is birth in the soul of black Americans. Russia had nothing to do with a Fred Hampton. They had nothing to do with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Or brothers like Minister Farrakhan. They have nothing to do with that. Just because we speak in those messages, how would a Russian even know how to even craft that message when Russia is pretty a homogenous country? It's a very white homogenous. So they say, well, you're trying to undermine our elections. Well, let's call it what it is, man. They undermine people's elections too. They install puppets too. I mean, if you study enough, you know the deal. I ain't got to keep saying it. I can only say so much so long. But they accuse everybody else of what they have been doing around the world, and then you want to have a pre-dawn raid with some elders. You know what I'm saying? You say Veronica said you're targeted at work for being silent and keeping to yourself. I'm targeted for wearing dashikis at work. Oh, y'all can wear free dress at work? Because I've always liked jobs where I had some sort of uniform. I never wanted to wear my personal clothes on any job. And yeah, the folks, you're right, Keisha. The folks destabilize countries all the time. They destabilize countries. This happens over and over and over and over again. But what I'm saying is a lot of times these folks are projecting. And then when they project and you call them out on it, it's always two ways they respond: gaslighting and whataboutisms. That's it. And they can get away with that because they still have a control. And unfortunately, they probably stay in control because you have people like Vivek Ramaswamy and all kind of other immigrants willing to help them stay in power because they just want to be the bootlicks. This is why you're starting to see a lot of people from Vivek Ramaswamy's community all in the Trump administration because they want to be. But that caste system in India, they worship white, and we talk about that, right? That worship of white or skin lightening or all kind of things like that. Like you look at it, it's weird. It's weird. Oh yeah. Every person who's been great, you mentioned it down there, Malcolm, Martin, Huey, Medgar, Lumumba. Yeah, everybody's been great. They either try to take their life, mess with their character, or say some white entity was funding them or whatever the case may be. You can't just free your people. It has to be some white entity, either a white liberal or white Russian. But I'm glad, once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so glad that they didn't have to serve federal time. But it goes to show you that the Biden administration don't believe in democracy. They don't. They believe in democracy in name only, but they don't believe it in being practiced. They just don't. And this is why a lot of people have said, man, forget the Democrat Party, because how you going to be the biggest preacher of democracy and you don't practice democracy? You don't practice the First Amendment. You don't practice it. You just don't. That's a party that sabotage candidates. They lie to their voters. There's so many things the Democrat Party do that get on people's nerves. And you wonder why people don't want to vote for them. That's why. Now, if Trump would have had them raided and all that, they'd be like, oh, see that racist Trump? Oh, my God, Trump is so racist. But when it's Biden, nobody's saying racism. And where was the Congressional Black Caucus? Where was the Congressional Black Caucus opening their mouth about this case? Because there was definitely, one black woman, she wasn't indicted, but you had a black man, and clearly they was using their freedom of speech and all that. So where's the Congressional Black Caucus? Where are they at? They're nowhere to be found when things happen to black people. And I'm not saying they got to go on the street and be an activist. No, you just even cutting on your phone and saying something, speaking up about something on your phone. Like, look, AOC is always run off at her mouth on Instagram. Y'all let AOC run circles around you Congressional Black Caucus members. Most of y'all got Instagram. You got TikTok. You got something that you can post a video on. But you never speak up for your people. That's why I always watch. And we need to start asking that question. When something happened to black people, the first thing we need to say is, where the Congressional Black Caucus at? Where they at? Yeah, I know you got a job in Washington, but you also got a job across the nation too, as a congresswoman or a congressman. Yeah, you're right. You said paid and bought subjects keep their mouth shut to get fed. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They sure do. They keep their mouth shut. They don't say nothing unless the Democrats say, okay, you can go say something about this. You all good. Yeah, Biden has always been a stone cold racist. When Kamala called him out as a racist, she was right, actually. Now, the only thing I don't like about the situation, you call this man to his face a racist, and then you gonna go work for him? I mean, that I never understood that at all. And now look at him. Got sabotage. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and probably wrap this one up a little bit earlier tonight than normal. Cause like I said, my gas is low. I admit that. And I don't want to ramble and say things, don't even know what I'm saying, right? But make sure you click the subscribe button. It's very, very important because it's free. Make sure you click the like button. The like button is important too. Make sure you come back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll be rocking and rolling like normal tomorrow. Send whatever is in the news, send it to me. And we'll definitely look at it and everything. But thank y'all for listening. We'll catch y'all on the next one.